There are a lot of ways of looking at relationships. We can look at equations, we can look at tables, we can look at graphs, and it turns out that each of those three different ways are valuable depending upon the circumstance. So it's important to be familiar not only with each of the three ways, but also the interconnections, how we go from one to the other. Let's talk about that together. So let's start out with an actual application question. So the number of miles a car travels is represented by the equation d equals 60 times t, where d is the distance in miles and t is the number of hours traveled. Let's try to make a table and then sketch a graph of this equation. So let's get a feel for taking the equation, this maybe sterile and cold and forbidding thing, and turning it into a happy geometric thing. And the go-between will be to set up a little table. So we'll just pick various values for t. That's going to be, in this case, the input. And the output is going to be the distance in miles, how far we traveled given the t. So you can pick anything you want here. I'm going to pick 0, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and 4 hours. And now let's insert it in and see what we get. So if I plug that in for t here, I see 60 times 0, which is 0. So the output is 0. At the beginning, when we start, we've gone no miles. After 1 hour, so I let t be 1, I see we've gone 60 miles. So the output is 60. 60 times 2, if I let t be 2, I see this is 120, so I see the output's 120 miles. If I let t be 3, that works out to be 180, so I see 180 miles as the output. And if the input is 4 hours, I see 240 miles as the output. So there's a collection of t and d, and we can graph this on the coordinate plane. Now, this is usually thought of as x and y, but here I'm also just going to note that really we're thinking about this as t, time, and the y is d, distance. Okay, let's plot these points. Remember, we always put the x or the t, the input first, and then the y. So 0, 0. Here we go. Next point is 1, comma 60. So over 1, up 60. Then 2, up 120. Then 3, over and up 180. And the last point I have in my chart is 4, and then go up 240. If we connect them with a straight edge, we see they perfectly line up, and we're actually seeing another example of a straight line. The graph of this turns out to be a straight line. So there you can see the equation, a table that captures some of the data, and then a line that captures all the data, but visually. So these are different ways of thinking about the exact same thing. Pretty cool. Equations, graphs, tables.